Blood smoldered. A forest bubbled away, its greenish hue warped to a sickly red that scarred anyone who laid their eyes on its horror. The scent of ashy blood lingered as a wailing storm burned through a peal of nauseous laughter. Bit by lightning, the forest was disturbed by the vacancy of life, except for the body of Uriel lying crumpled. His form was tattered and broken by bruises and cuts, which mutilated his form, turning his white outfit to mush. Over him was Taek's Nox, tears streaming down his face, marring his skull with salt. Lumi's eyes flickered, a morning buzz floating in her eyes. She stared at Uriel, his blood seeping away in the storm. Her eyes turned, steadily, absorbing the horrid surroundings. The trees were left burnt and scarred, and a large crater hung just out of sight, further than the eye could see. Lumi's sight wandered closer to the perpetrators. Back in that musky room, which bathed too close to fall, the walls were still dotted with paper. The same bed hung in the corner, too large for its stature. Lumi's eyes finally regained focus, catching the shape of Uriel, his form slunk to the wall, yet a thankful glare that watched back from the bluish stone. A hysterical laughter erupted from the mother. Her sight pierced the darkness like a bolt of lightning. EGS, the Elder God, promised you, Lumi, a fight? Asked the mother, her purple eyes doubting. You do realize he has nothing to gain. If he wanted Abraxas dead, he would do it himself. Lumi stepped forward, turning toward the mother's cackle. He did promise. I know he did. Even if I don't know why. A sigh bellowed from the mother, her purple lips tired and wishing for slumber. And I should believe you. Why? You being certain means nothing. Anyone can be confident when lying. But I'm not lying, Lumi shouted. The mother's eyes slowed toward Lumi. And where is your evidence? Where is the say of words that he mentioned? The flicker of evidence that turns a mystery to fact? Lumi's eyes turned down, and she stepped back. I don't have any. Her back touched the wall, her eyes dimmed toward Uriel. I don't have proof. All I know is he gave me the information through a dream. She lifted. So, what if I don't? Lumi asked. I don't see what is a concern for you. Shouldn't you choose to accept my Audiobook trade and let us move on? Her stance thickened. No, I shouldn't. The mother stepped forward. A trade requires that both sides be equal. That book is not equal to my spell, and what I require exceeds your budget. In the corner of her eye, Lumi noticed the cloaked figure's portrait. Could he work, she thought, stepping closer. What if my budget includes information on them? Lumi pointed to the cloaked figure's portrait. Would that be sufficient? The mother's eyes bore down on Lumi. You can't be serious, she sighed. You cannot expect me to believe you have information on him. Not after that EGS stunt. I am serious. He removed my curse. He gave me a sword from the contractor's event. Lumi exhaled deeply. Do you believe me, or do you need more? If she's telling the truth, EGS was right. The cloaked figure was the cause. The mother thought, stepping back and placing her hand on her face. She has an aura. Her curse would have prevented that. Could anyone else remove it? The mother walked to the portrait, watching it intently. No, nobody else. She scrunched her teeth. If she's truthful, it's likely EGS did promise her. Her gaze warped to me. Yes. It's enough, the mother said. But I want the information first. I'm not taking the risk that you're lying. Her hand lifted toward the board. She gripped the air and pushed the wall open like a door. She agreed, Umi thought, her eyes following as the mother entered the room. It bore a table too big for its housing. Its sleek silver reflected the dim hue. That's fine, she said. Stepping into the room, the mother's eyes wandered through each picture dangling from the walls. She sighed. Okay, are you ready? Umi paused, turning to Uriel. Yes, I am. What do you want to know? Everything, the mother answered. Umi stood, slowly explaining the day she made the figure, that sun-bathed training, his seductive way of speech, that soundless magic that only hummed the slightest static, barely audible to all. She remembered that soft glow when she grabbed the sword, a radiance that could barely be called magic. Rumi's eyes were fixed on the mother. Then he vanished. She stepped closer. That's all I have. Is it enough? Her eyes quivered. Wait, how did he get into my garden? Rumi thought. She could hear his spells hum. The mother thought, her eyes lighting up. Wait, his spells have a hum? He's less skilled than Aegis and Miss Tina Unknown, but that doesn't make sense. He removed her curse. Oh, that explains it. He made it. Umi stood firm, awaiting the mother's voice. Was it enough? She insisted. The mother raised her hand and her eyes flashed like sunlight. Let's team up. Her face grew into a wide smirk, sly and slick. After all, we're taking on Abraxas. Same end goals, right? She straightened her back, no longer tired. With glowing eyes, she glared down at Umi. I'll tell you more about the cloaked figure if you agree. Her smile widened. Umi leaked sweat, a watery sensation soaking into her clothes. She coughed loudly as her brain attempted to restart a healing. Was it mistaken? Did it hear those words? Team up flashed through Umi's mind, her eyes widening. She's joking, right? Umi thought, her eyes shivering. Why would a title god want us? Her breathing hitched. Are you serious? She asked. What could we possibly give you? The mother stepped forward, her smile dimmed as did the room around her. Her eyes were curious. Was I too forward? She thought, lifting her hand to her face and covering it. Maybe I was too distant at first. That raises suspicion. I wouldn't accept. I am serious, the mother sighed. But I admit, I'm suspicious. Her hand ready to agreement. No team up then. How about a trade? An unfair trade. I'll aid in any way I can before you two leave, and in the future, you'll assist me. Deal? Rumi glanced at Uriel, swallowing hard. She's being serious, she thought. Her breath was meek. I know, I shouldn't. It's a trap. How can I pass this up? I'll hate it. Uriel smiled. Deal, Rumi answered. Her voice was a mouse. I don't want to get Uriel or Dex killed from this. She raised her hand to meet the mother's, gripping its firmness tightly. The room seemed to grow tiny. An unfinished smile on the mother's face. Her eyes were glued to her hand. She accepted, and I did so much not to be unfair, the mother thought, lifting her hands. She clapped. A sleek texture's book fell into Rumi's hand. Stumbling forward, Rumi barely caught the book, its weight nearly dragging her down. Is this really a book, she thought, her hands glowing redder from its weight. She caught herself from falling and her exhausted sweat fell. It's radiating more mana than I have. Slowly, she turned the book into a more comfortable hold. Static potential, Rumi thought, reading the cover. Is this the spell she promised? But how? There are only 10 pages. The mother's eyes scanned down at Rumi. The air thickened and she stepped away. She sat on her bed, ignoring Uriel's state. Any questions? Her voice ran amused, but slight annoyed scoff was beneath. You said you could tell us about the cloaked figure? Rumi followed, her eyes watching Uriel's paling form. He smiled. Why do you care about it? The mother crossed her legs. She sighed, and her voice began. In truth, I know nothing. Her eyes narrowed at his portrait, but he appeared for the length of Mana's flicker, and he vanished. It was as if in one moment he existed, but in another he didn't. That's all I know. Oh, and EGS was surprised. He surprised EGS, Rumi thought, her eyes scanning the portrait. If he's so powerful, why did he save me? It seems he could have taken out EGS alone. Why did he? She muttered. Uriel watched them. His body ached from stillness. She's there for them, he thought. Again, I'm here, just like earlier. He breathed lightly, too lightly. His eyes turned to the Audiobook, its mana still radiating profusely. I'm sick of waiting for Rumi's help. I need power. He turned to the mother. Rumi said she'll teach me magic. That's power, right? But you cannot use magic, and won't train me. Standing up, Uriel stumbled into the conversation, cutting off their thinking. His breath ran light, his neck burned under the loosening bandage around his neck. Rumi cannot use magic. Can you help her? He asked the mother. Please. She cannot use magic, the mother thought, her expression turning indifferent. Did Cancer Level 3 do it? No, EGS is the only one stupid enough to cast it. There's no reason to use that spell on her. Uriel knows, so it could not have been long ago. Ansgar? If so, then someone died. The mother thought, her eyes locked upon Rumi's sign hair dangling behind. I'll help. But confirm for me. Did someone die? Uriel stepped back. How did she know? Yes, Rumi muttered, staring. Friend of mine, Ajax. Tears welled in her eyes, cooling her soft skin with salty flakiness. He must have died while you were using magic, or your magic had a strong memory of him. The mother smirked. Simple. You are failing at magic because your mind gets distracted when you construct spells. The mother leaned forward. Change your thoughts. He isn't dead. You can save him. This might not be true, but convince yourself of it. You must stop grieving when you use magic. Empty your thoughts. Rumi raised her head, wiping away the tears. Is that... Her voice rang quiet. I can do that. Her eyes grew wider. They were straddled with joy. He's not dead. I'm rescuing him. I need magic to do that. Her eyes grew quiet as they closed. Uriel smiled at Rumi. If that works, she'll regain magic, he thought, his eyes sparkling. Then, I can run. I can save them. Is that all? The mother stood up. Her heart raced with tightening muscles. She stepped toward the cloaked figure's portrait. Turning around, Rumi watched the mother scan the portrait. Do you know of the contractor's event? An exhausted sigh escaped the mother's lips. No, I don't, she said. It was about fighting without magic. I had little interest to learn. The mother stared blankly at Rumi, her mind lost in thought. Ask Abraxas. He might have cared to learn. I have to ask Abraxas, Rumi thought, her smile curling away. Beads of sweat slipped down like rain. Will he even speak to me? Her eyes turned to Uriel, his smile still wide. I could try, she said, if we're fighting him anyways. Rumi stood still as the words left her. It's no big deal, she thought. He'll probably tell us if I use his arrogance. She turned to the mother, her sweat no longer pouring. I'm out of questions. That's a shame, but it can't be helped, the mother said, her eyes twirling to Uriel. She placed her hand over her face. I'll open a portal for you to leave. Your condition implies you can't. Her eyes grew dim from exhaustion. Uriel sighed. I thought I would do more. He stepped away toward the hallway. The scent of ink and paper was still strong in his nose. He turned to Umi, waiting for her to follow. Thank you, Umi bowed. She grabbed her books before stepping up to Uriel. Her footsteps echoed across the tiles. A piece of advice, the mother said, yawning. Dex knocks. He has a hidden type, one that steals the strength of any he kills. If you fight Abraxas, Dex will die if he gets the final hit. Uriel's blood ran cold, sweat poured. His feet stopped their journey, and he slowly turned around with whitened eyes. He will die. His voice quivered. How is that possible? Mother stepped forward, her eyes piercing down at Uriel. Hal won't save him. If you care, you should prevent him from getting the kill. She walked toward her bed, yawning. Kill Abraxas before he does, and Dex will not die. Uriel stepped backward, sweat pouring down. His body stumbled down the hallway. His mind was too busy to ask questions. Could he even comprehend the answer? He stopped in the frigid air and turned, waiting for Rumi to follow. Rumi's eyes shuddered as she stared at the mother. She sighed, walking toward Uriel. Could we stop him? She thought, the hallway creeping into view. Down the hall they went. The mother stared blankly as their footsteps vanished into the darkness. Her eyes remained drowsy, patting down her pajamas. The mother sat down. She scoffed loudly as her eyes remained furrowed. I can't believe we made such a stupid trade. She placed her head into her burrow. Why couldn't you just accept the fair trade? Now I have to live with the unfair. Her eyes slowly closed. She was out, and a loud snoring froze the walls. Rumi and Uriel continued down the hall. Its bluish walls were lined by extinguished torches which were boring in their mundanity. The hallway stretched endlessly as the loud snore burrowed through. They were unaffected by its roar. The aftermath of their negotiations still hung silently. Uriel seemed happier as they went down the path. He grew paler with each step. Sorry I couldn't get your family back. His eyes softened. I'm not sure we can. If the Supreme Gods would fail, how do we stand a chance? Uriel turned, his eyes shimmering in the dark. It's possible. It has to be. For them. He smiled. It's okay. We'll just need to be the first, can't we? He smiled. Even if you don't believe it. Try. Rumi turned up, a tear marking her cheeks. It isn't possible. Uriel. It isn't. Her hands twitched. I'll try. But don't get your hopes up. I'll fail. We'll fail. Uriel stepped forward. He was nearly a ghost. If we struggle to all our ends and still lose, then we'll just have to come back harder. His eyes turned down to his hand, and a golden pendant formed in his clutches. How else can we save them? Are you sure you want me? Rumi asked, her eyes shivering. Uriel slowly handed Rumi the pendant, a photo of Ajax held in its care. There would be no better choice. You promised, after all. His bandages loosened further. A wide smile grew on his face, yet it seemed shallow, as if trying to hide. But thanks. His eyes lit up at the pendant. I'll save them. I'll try. She grabbed the pendant slowly. Time passed as she stared at its beauty. A tear fell from her as she placed the pendant around her neck. Uriel walked away. Then we should hurry. He turned to Rumi as she followed. The small pitter-patter of steps echoed in the hallway. Its wall was no longer frozen. The two carried into the distance, the darkness shining from extinguished torches. Turning to me, Uriel stumbled. Should we tell Dex? His hands trembled. I want to, but I'm not sure how he'll handle it. His eyes turned down, glimmering with worry. He might hold back. He'll fight sluggishly. That'll kill us. Umi stopped, her eyes turned down to her books. He'll hold back against the praxis, she thought. Her fingers traced over where she had been cut in two. We can't tell him. The praxis is too like the breath of wind. Umi lifted her eyes. No. Her voice ran quietly. Her eyes widened. Her feet jumped before she could think, bolting forward. Uriel collapsed into the wall, his fingers barely clutching its edges. He breathed shallow and quick. His eyes were wide and empty with a fading smile that begged to stay. His bandage had tangled to the floor. The back of his neck was a sleek bloody red mix, with a long bruise in the shape of a blade. Blood pooled within his skin, surprised that he was even alive. I'm fine, he mumbled, his voice pretending to be steel. Umi's eyes twitched as she scanned the wound. Why aren't you healing? She spat, her heart thrumming in the silent air like death. Umi's face grew white as she knelt by his side. Can I fix this? She thought, her body trembling. Uriel's eyes jerked, staring blankly into Umi's eyes. The fading glimmer. I'm human. I can't regenerate. His body collapsed forward, his eyes struggling to stay open. Time seemed to freeze around Umi, her breathing still. He can't heal. Was I too blind? She scanned over his neck. Can I get to Dex in time? No, I'm not fast enough. Her eyes turned down. Did I fail? She grabbed the pendant. I didn't. I haven't failed yet. She lifted her head, and her eyes caught sight of Ajax. A familiar sight of wounds. The bear-like creature was out of sight. She blinked, staring at Uriel, the memory still present in her mind. She breathed in deeply. Ajax. Uriel isn't dead. I can save him. Her hand lifted as they did that day, a memory of steel. Mana flooded into her hands, and a magical circles flashed into sight. I'll be fine. I'm okay. Uriel struggled to smile. When his eyes widened at his words, the spell shattered in her palms. She couldn't keep her mind free. Water danced in her eyes. She stared down at her hands. Her body trembled as Uriel's body declined. The mother said to empty my mind. Umi thought, her body pale. Her hands trembled as her breath. Her breathing echoed like coins rattling in a jar. She breathed in, holding her breath. No complaining, no worrying. Her eyes closed. Through her narrowed veins, mana poured out from her soul, traveling through her hands as the basic healing spell formed in her mind. The mana became ragged as it was shaped. Her heart thumped calmly as if any more force would kill Uriel. Uriel was nearly gone. Umi breathed out sharply. Her mind was empty, and a thin aura exited her body. It was a chaotic black that wished to swallow the book's mana for itself. Umi's cyan eyes opened, glowing from the healing that parted from her hands. The aura was gone. It failed to take the mana. Uriel's wound grew shut, the blood vanished, and the blade's bruise was now gone. His complexion returned to his friendly white. He coughed as his mind regained composure. He turned to Umi, his smile strengthened and warm. I'm alive? Yes, you are. Umi smiled, tears rolling down her cheeks. She leapt in, tightly embracing Uriel, nearly sucking the life out of him. She looked toward her books, wondering what that strange feeling was. The mother's snore wandered through the hall. The walls froze, but Umi and Uriel didn't care. They continued their hug, They were tight, hug. Tears welled up in Yo-Yo's eyes, drifting down his cheek. He was thankful for the soft beating of his heart. Sitting for what felt like minutes, they enjoyed their long embrace, the warmth on warmth, the happy breathing. All lasted for so long that it seemed a shy corner from forever. Soon they released their hug and warmth. Walking through the hall, the walls were normal. Rumi's sight hung on Uriel's straightened posture, her eyes gleaming at his sleek figure. I healed him, she thought, smiling. Can I do this? Can we do this? She blushed slightly. But Uriel can't heal. If a sparring match with Dex did that, maybe you should stay out of the fighting? Their footsteps echoed on the walls. The mother's snoring kept appearing. We shouldn't tell Dex, Rumi said, her eyes turning down. But maybe we can stop him before... if he gets the final blow. Dex can heal. We should be upfront, Rumi thought. Uriel should support. Uriel turned. He slowly nodded. Is it selfish to agree? He thought, rubbing the back of his neck. Dex said he couldn't scratch Tonar. I can't lose him too. Sorry, even if you hate me after. He sighed, stepping ahead. I'll stop him. He turned to me. His breath was sweet. You'll need to get the final blow then. Or will you die too? His eyes glowed in the dark as he turned the air into light. He shouldn't go so far as to kill me. I'll have to kill Abraxas. Can I? Rumi thought, breathing out deeply. Her eyes were damp from letting tears. I can. I must. She lifted her eyes. I won't die, she joked. Rumi will get them back. I know. Uriel thought, stepping down the hallway. Rumi followed. I shouldn't lie again. He clutched his bandage tightly. Dex will not last without me. The two's footsteps carried down. The darkness grew faint as a blue light radiated from ahead. The promised portal was there, glowing fiercely through the dim mana. The strip was finally over. Long, straight shadows were cast off of Rumi and Uriel. The faces were a pale blue. Uriel rubbed the back of his neck. His fingers were still surprised that the wound was truly gone. Dex won't leave this trip, he thought, turning to me. Will he be happy I got along with her? They continued down the hallway. The radiating portal grew fiercer. Mana sparkled from its core, reverberating the footsteps near it. This was fun, Yo-Yo said, smiling. Sounds stopped. Shadows flickered. Rumi's eyes shot open as she stared toward the portal. Its flickering mana seemed odd. She couldn't point out why, but it seemed incorrect and wrong. A single drop of sweat tumbled down. Her pupils shrank. A man appeared through the shadows. No sound in his breath. He didn't exist. Uriel froze. His body grew pale. Sweat rippled. He scanned the man's colorless clothes that seemed painted onto his sleek figure. Hair matched the void. Skin was a brittle gray, holding his pure white eyes up. His face was normal, generic. Rumi and Uriel shriveled into the wall. Both were drowned in scalded sweat, prickled in paleness. Death had taken hold. Is that even a god? Rumi thought, rolling herself into the ground. Uriel was frozen, nearly lifeless. What's this feeling? He thought, grasping at his tightening throat. The man stopped. The silent air grew cold and unnatural, unfurling into nothing. He stared blankly at the field, at Umi and Uriel. His body remained forward, and his head and his face empty. His pure black aura seeped out of him like coagulating blood. Umi and Uriel were stuck. They couldn't move as the silent watching paralyzed them. No magic was used. They barely breathed, hoping their held breath would make him cross them over. What seemed to be forever, he turned away. His unfurling gaze, glare, disappeared as he continued down the hall. Her mother's snore echoed. Walls froze, yet the ice refused to approach the man. Rumi and Uriel's ears caught the faint flickering of mana. They breathed out and in rapidly. Who was that? Uriel asked, his pupils dilated. What was that? Rumi said at the same time as Uriel, her voice overcutting his. That was a god. Right? She thought. Right? Rumi turned toward his empty footsteps, crawling in the distance. But he was gone, warped away by the shadows of extinguished torches. She sighed.